All right, so now we're going to go more into depth on factoring using the greatest common factor method. So, and we'll kind of go in steps in terms of making it more difficult. So this, you might have seen a problem like this on Monday if you got to this part of the classwork. Let's say we have something like this. So we're still going to start off as before by focusing on the numbers. But now the difference here, if you notice, they both have some variables. The ones we were looking at earlier, only one of them had a variable. But again, let's start by looking at the numbers. So 6 you can get by doing 1 times 6 or 2 times 3. 18 you can get by doing 1 times 18. It's even, so 2 can go into it. We know it can be 2 times 9. And then there's one more, which would be 3 times 6. There's a trick, which I was just reminded of for knowing if things are divisible by 3. If you add up the digits of the number, if the number you get is divisible by 3, then the number is divisible by 3. What that means is, that may have sounded a little confusing. So we would take the digits of 18, 1 and 8. We do 1 plus 8, that'd give us a 9, and 9 is divisible by 3, which means for whatever reason, I'm not sure, I haven't really tried to think it through, but whatever reason, that means that 18 is also divisible by 3. And it turns out it's 3 times 6. Like, just as a brief aside, say you had the number 351. If you want to know if this number is divisible by 3, again, you would just add up the digits. 3 plus 5 plus 1 would give you 9. 9 is divisible by 3, so you know that 3 can go into this number. It's just kind of a weird little trick that works. So anyways, back to where we were. What's the biggest number that they both have in common? Here, it would be a 6. 6 can go into both of them. So we know when we factor, we know when we factor, we can take out a 6. But let's think about what these mean. So 6xy, we can write that as 1 times 6 times x times y. When those letters are just scrunched up next to the number, it means it's multiplication. We just don't have to write the multiplication symbol every time. And over here, we know this is 3 times 6 times x. So when we're doing the greatest common factor method, remember, we're taking out the factors that they have in common. We took out a 6, but what else can we take out? We can also take out an x. They both have an x being multiplied in them. So we can take out the 6 and the x. And then you're just saying basically what's left over. 6x times what gives you 6xy. So focus on the number. 6 times what number gives you 6? That'd be a 1. If you multiply 6x times 1, that gives you 6x. But we want 6xy. So we still need that missing y. And again, all you need to do to get that y is just tack it on here. So that's one way to think about it, on how to get this term right here. You could also have said, what's left over? We took out the 6 and the x. There's still a 1 and a y left over. So you could just find that one y that way. Which if we look over here, you'll see that it's just going to be a 3 left. And our sign was plus. Let's double check this second one. 6x times 3 would give us 6 times 3 is 18. And then you have that x, so it's 18x. So this would be our answer here. Let's look at another one. Let's say we have 30b minus 50ab. Let's try this one out. So first we want to say, what's the biggest number they both have in common? Focus on the numbers. So 30, and there's one that may stand out to you right away. But let's try to go through this. 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, 6 times 5. So there's kind of a lot for these ones. 50 could be 1 times 50, 2 times 25, 5 times 10. And that's all I can think of. So hopefully that's all we need. If you notice, 10 goes into both of these. And we don't have a bigger number that goes into both, so we're going to take out a 10. We're going to leave some space because we're also going to take out a letter. So if you notice, 10 is multiplied into both of these. 10 times 3 gives you 30, 10 times 5 gives you 50. But also there's a b being multiplied on both of these. So we're not just taking out the 10, we're also going to take out that b. So 10b. And then just like before, we're saying 10b times what is going to give us 30b. What do you think goes there? That's going to be a 3. And just drop down whatever sign is there. And then 10b times what is going to give us 50ab. So this one maybe seems a little more complicated. Focus on the number first. 10 times what number gives you 50? That'd be 5. Because we're doing 10b times 5, that would give us 50b. But we want 50ab. So how can we get that a also? Again, just tack it on the end. And so this would be our answer. 10b times 3 is 30b. 10b times 5a is 50ab. And also keep in mind that 50ab is the same thing as 50ba. The order doesn't matter because it's multiplication. So let's go ahead and try practice. Let's say we have $12 mn plus 20 n. Go ahead and let's pause the video and try this one out. Okay, let's have a look. So first, we want to focus on the numbers. 12 you can get by doing 1 times 12, 2 times 6, or 3 times 4. 20 you can get by doing 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5. And so if we notice, 2 goes into both of these, but also 4 goes into both of them. 4 is bigger. So we want to take out the 4. But then if we notice, they also both have an n, so we can take out that n. And then we're asking 4n times what gives us 12mn. So again, focus on the numbers first. 4 times what number gives you 12? That's a 3. Right now we have 4n times 3, which gives you 12n. But we need 12n or 12mn. So we're missing that m. And again, all that means is you just need to add the m here. 4 times 3 gives you 12, and then you have your n and your m. So we have 12mn. Then drop down the sign. We should probably stop using m and n. They sound too similar. In any case, now we're asking 4n times what gives us 20n. So 4 times what number gives you 20? That'd be 5. And 4n times 5 gives you 20n. We don't need to add anything. That's just what we wanted. So this would be our answer. Let's try one last practice. Let's say factor out a GCF of let's say this. So let's go ahead and pause the video and try this one out. All right, let's have a look. So 5 you can get by doing 1 times 5, and that's it. 10 you can do 1 times 10 or 2 times 5. You notice the greatest number they have in common is a 5. So we're going to take out this 5. Also, we'll notice that they both have a y, so we can take that out as well. Then we're saying 5y times what is going to give us 5y. That's so simple, it maybe almost seems confusing. It's just going to be a 1. 5y times 1 gives us 5y. Then we'll drop down the sign. Sorry. It's going to be minus. And then 5y times what gives us 10xy. There's more going on here, so think about the numbers first. 5 times what number gives you 10? That's a 2. And we already have our y, but we're missing this x, so just tack it on the end. 5y times 2x. 5 times 2 is 10, and then you have your x and your y, which is what we wanted. So this is our final answer.